Hello and welcome. Tough day today for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay in the Creamsicles, taking an L to the Detroit Lions. And I've watched some coverage and some reviews of the game and everything like that, and everybody seems really doom and gloom. And I don't think that that is necessarily the only approach you could take away from this game. Of course, a disappointing effort. Offense did not look good. Defense looked good in spurts, not its best. Coaching was not at a premium, but there are a lot of positives I feel like to take away from a game like this mixed in there. I would say the Detroit Lions they're obviously one of the better teams in the NFC. And maybe in that second tier of teams, right behind teams like San Francisco and Philly, although Philly didn't look that good today either, and San Francisco also lost. But Detroit is in that somewhere in that threshold in that pecking order of the NFC. And I came away from this game feeling as though they're a very beatable team. They're not head and shoulders above where Tampa Bay can play. It's just whether or not Tampa Bay shows up and gives their A game, their B game, their C game, their D game. What performance do we get? I don't think Detroit is this untouchable beast or this untouchable team. Most of the success, I felt like, I'm going to say the game came down to 3 plays, all of which I think Tampa Bay failed to execute more than the Lions actually executed. 3 plays, 2 deep balls on third and short from Baker Mayfield to Trey Palmer. Neither one of them complete. Now, Dave Canales, I've been a big Canales fan, but I think this was his worst game calling plays. I just felt as though the offense as a whole was very out of sync, was not in tune, didn't look organic. It just didn't look good. And as a play caller, you got to create that rhythm. You have to find a way to get that rhythm. And I don't agree on these particular 2 plays with the play calls. I don't think a third and short shot play down the field to your third string receiver is the most. I don't think it's necessarily the time for that play call. However, I can't argue with results. The play worked, right? You schemed a guy wide open down the field for a deep shot. And your quarterback has got to be able to hit an open man running down the field, point blank. So I feel as though while I wouldn't have necessarily leaned that way for my play call, it's hard to be mad because it was open. You got a guy open down the field. And Baker Mayfield's got to convert those. Those 2 plays, both of them potentially could have been touchdowns. One of them for sure could have been a touchdown. But even if they're not, even if Baker Mayfield just gives Trey Palmer a catchable pass, forces him to slow down and field it like a punt and just catch the ball, that is a colossal shift in field position, momentum. The yardage gained alone on those 2 plays could potentially change the game. Those 2 plays and the third play that changed the game, again, Tampa Bay hurting Tampa Bay, was Ryan Neal coverage on the deep ball touchdown that Jared Goff threw. All you got to do is turn and find the ball. This is 101 of football. You got to turn and find the ball. Okay, you cannot. I give him credit for not getting called for pass interference on the play because he was delayed in his. He didn't just run down the receiver and just trample over him, but you have to turn your head and look for the ball. When it's an underthrown pass, and that was not a good throw by Jared Goff, it wasn't like it was just indefensible. It was just hung up there and floated down. And if you'd have just turned and found the ball, you'd have had a great opportunity to make a play on the ball. And that's the thing that gives you a lot of hope, I want to say, if you're a Bucs fan. Those 3 plays, that's a touchdown you let up and potentially 2 touchdowns you didn't cash in on that could have completely changed the game. Because all 3 of those plays were highly capable that the Bucs make those plays. They just didn't. And that was kind of the summary of the game. Another thing that drove me a little crazy is we see around the league all day, every Sunday, the best players on all their teams touch the ball and get opportunities to touch the ball. Now, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are the best offensive players on Tampa Bay. And neither one had an incredible day. Chris Godwin, in garbage time, got a lot of opportunity and cashed them, made a lot of plays. Mike Evans, terrible day. Drew a penalty, had a drop, also had a penalty called against him. Not a pretty day for Mike Evans at all. But you got to when you need a spark and you need a play, you have to get your people the ball. Third downs to Trey Palmer and third downs to Devin Tompkins, that's not success. That's not what success looks like. Third downs to Chris Godwin, third downs to Mike Evans. That's where the ball needs to be dispersed. You have one of the best receiving corps in the league, and those are the people who need to touch the ball in those moments. You have to throw it to your guys and give your guys an opportunity. You would always rather go down swinging with your people, giving your people opportunities, than go down swinging with Devin Tompkins on a slant route where he just gets bodied. The other thing that drove me crazy today, Todd Bowles. Late in the game, fourth quarter, you're trailing by 2 scores already, and you decide to punt on a 4th and short. It's not surprising to see it happen. It's very classic Todd Bowles, but he had been doing better this year in being aggressive. That situation loses you the game. Any chance you had of coming back, over right there. Defense did eventually get you the ball back, but there was no time left. You have to be aggressive to beat good teams.